Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode of Uncle Don's Friday Night Cocktail Hour, Saturday Night Special Edition. So again, it's been one of those weeks and Friday wasn't any different and today hasn't really been any different either. So I ended up putting my cocktail hour off till tonight. So I've got a great drink tonight for you that I think you're going to really enjoy. Now, I'd like to first of all start out by giving a special thanks to some friends of mine, Maximum Hair, on Portsmouth Boulevard here in Western Branch in Chesapeake. I mean, if you're wondering ever who is responsible for keeping Uncle Don looking so clean cut, then look no further. So thanks to my friend Bobby there who cuts my hair on a regular basis, and to all the other great people at Maximum Hair. If you want a haircut done the right way, or you want your hair done the right way, look no further than Maximum Hair. All right, so tonight's drink is something called a Boulevardier, which, again, like a lot of the drinks I make, they're kind of older drinks, classic cocktail drinks, which, I think, need to be remembered and made well. So Boulevardier, again, an old drink that dates back to the 1920s, 1930s. There was a fella out in Paris, France, not Paris, Texas or Tennessee, but a fellow named Erskine Gwynn, who was an American writer living in Paris, who created this magazine called the Boulevardier. And it's a magazine that was for American expats that were living in Paris. And he created this drink that we're going to make tonight called a Boulevardier. It's a word in French that roughly translates into man about town. So, you can kind of put those together, and that's kind of the way things were back then. Now, this drink is very similar to a drink that I'm going to make sometime down the road called a Negroni. Now, a Negroni is a drink that has gin, it has sweet vermouth, and it has Campari in it. A Boulevardier, however, has the same two previous ingredients, but instead of gin, it has bourbon, whiskey. Now, you can also make a Boulevardier that has rye in it, and I believe that's technically called an old guy, or I forget exactly the name, but you can make it with rye whiskey, which, again, will add to the body for this drink. But we're going to make a Boulevardier tonight, and it's an excellent drink. Now, I've heard descriptions of the two drinks compared to one another, where the Negroni has been described as a crisp and a lean drink, while the Boulevardier is a rich and intriguing drink, and it's in many ways is described as being the Negroni's long-lost autumnal cousin. So that's a pretty interesting kind of description for the drink we're going to make tonight. Again, a great drink to make, on a cool night. You can drink it any time you want, but again, now that it's getting to be fall, I'm going to try to make some fall type of drinks that I think everybody will enjoy. All right, so as we talked about before, the ingredients. A fairly decent bourbon. This is my Old Forester 1897 bottled in bond. It's a great drink for sipping neat, and it's also a great one to mix. Campari, which is, it's an acquired taste. The Italians absolutely love this and the flavor with it, but it's a very, very, kind of bitter orange kind of liqueur that I think, if you really like it straight or on the rocks, you can drink it that way like they do in the continent, but it's also a great drink for mixing. But again, it takes a little getting used to because of the flavor. That's the bitter part of this. And then, of course, we're going to use some sweet vermouth. And again, Martini and Rossi, a great sweet vermouth. I have no problem with that at all. One of my favorites is Carpana Antica, which is a more pricey sweet vermouth that, goes great. But we're just going to use good old-fashioned Martini and Rossi tonight. All right. Now, the perfection of this drink is when you get it blended right, there's a great mix of this bitter and this sweet with the kind of punch of the whiskey, which you want to go for. So here's how we're going to start with this one. Once again, our good old cocktail shaker that we're going to just chill down. And again, my glass that I'm going to drink this out of is sitting in the freezer right now, mixing, cooling down. All right, first things first, the whiskey. How much do you want to put in here? Well, I'm going to put 1.5 ounces, and that's a pretty standard amount for this drink. You can add a little bit more, a little bit less, but what I would probably tell you, based on the flavor of this drink, you might want to keep the whiskey part pretty standard. It's the Campari and the sweet vermouth combination that sometimes, you need to tweak a little bit on based on your particular taste of this drink. And then for our Campari, we're going to add 1 ounce. So, and just pour that right into the glass there. There we go. 1 ounce of Campari. Put that aside. And again, this is a great mixer to make a drink called an Americano, which 007 has drank a few times in some of the Ian Fleming novels. And then for the sweet vermouth, you're going to, again, pour the same amount as you did with the Campari, 1 ounce. So there we go. 1.5 ounces of your spirits, 1 ounce each of the Campari and the sweet vermouth. And the next thing we're going to do, of course, is we're going to shake this. So take it away, KC.
Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty.
Okay, I think we're shaking up enough now. So that's good for now. And once again, I've got my rocks glass here that has a nice little frosty sheen on it. It's been sitting in my freezer for a while, just for this occasion. And we're going to mix this up. I like to use, for some of these drinks, a nice spherical ice cube. Again, you know, the idea of that is that you don't have all of these individual ice cubes with the increased ice surface area, and then the ice melts and it dilutes the drink much too quickly. This larger single cube, smaller surface area, melts a little slower, dilutes slower, and doesn't dilute your drink and change the flavor. So here we go, pouring that right out. And it's got that nice kind of, you know, amberish, orangish color, you know, that's from the Campari and the sweet vermouth with, you know, your whiskey coloring. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to garnish this with a little orange peel. And I got my little handy dandy peeler here. And this is a nice fresh orange. You're going to have a lot of nice orange oil that you can, again, you know, pinch out, squeeze out onto the top of your drink. And again, you know, that little extra flavor of orange oil around the edge of the rim of the glass, that gives you a little extra flavor. And then we'll just twist that up and we'll just drop that right in. All right. So, and another shout out to a recent friend of mine I've rediscovered on Facebook, a fellow named Jeff Sasaki, who's a big cocktail lover, and he has commented on enjoying Boulevardiers. So, all right, let's give this one a quick drink. Feels nice and cold. Smells very rich and intriguing, just like I described before. So let's see. Oh, that is really, really good. And again, you can just taste the Campari. So if you want to tweak that and lessen the Campari, and, you know, depending on how it tastes to you, you might enjoy that even more. But again, this doesn't take much getting used to. This is a great one that you could drink from the start. All right, so to my friend Jeff, here's a Boulevardier for you. Cheers. And then again, once again, shout out to my friends at Maximum Hair on Portsmouth Boulevard in Western Branch. Bobby, thanks again for everything, and everybody else there. You guys have a great rest of your weekend and the rest of your fall. Cheers.